I really like the 313 thing.
Yeah.
And I also really like when you guys say hi and you guys say, what up, though? It's just very funny.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into another episode of Warrior Weekly. I'm Brady Beedon, and he's Kevin Brechmacher. And Kevin, we have a national champion, Max Wozniak. When your bronze medal is the disappointing part of your weekend, you had a pretty good week. The 1 meter national champion, the third place finisher on the 3 meter board. That is a heck of a weekend. Congratulations to him. That's something pretty special to get first and third in a weekend, and only a junior.
Yeah, you'll have to ask him when you have him in for the podcast at some point, hopefully. What happened in the 3 meter? Why'd you only get the bronze, right?
Right.
With 2 goals. No, shout out to Max. Congratulations, national champion here at Wayne State. A very rare occurrence, obviously. So shout out to him, his family, the rest of his teammates, the coaching staff, Sean Peters and the coaching staff. What a great job. It's really bringing the pride to Wayne State. So shout out to Max, national champion. That's really cool.
Something you can never take away from someone. And now forever, I know it'll probably be enshrined. Maybe one of the pictures leading to Jeff's office, him celebrating.
It should be. Yeah,
like put him next to Kayla Giroux. I know is on there as you walk back there throughout the walls or the halls here at Math Eye. Incredible accomplishment. And then Olin Sharnstrom, first team All-American in the 100-meter backstroke. He finishes 8th in the country, which, I know Max takes the shine, but still, a top 10 finish nationally is nothing to sneeze at.
All-American. That's all you have to say, All-American. Again, that doesn't happen very often at any school, let alone Wayne State, so shout out for that as well. It's great. Student-athletes just continuing to get the job done here at Wayne State as we transition now into the spring sports season. Great shout out to all the student-athletes in the winter for their performances, but especially those two. Excellent work and bringing a lot of pride to Wayne State.
The men's swimming and diving team finished tied for 14th at the Nationals, which, is not bad at all. I mean, you heard Coach Peters earlier in the year when he was on here said, we're going to start off a little slow, but I think we're going to put it together. And, a 14th place finish, pretty darn good.
Yeah, and again, he's been here forever.
Mm-hmm. As half the coaches
have here at Wayne State, and that's definitely I think a characteristic of Wayne State coaches that they come here and they want to stick around here and they want to build winners here. And we see that with Coach Peters. We see that with Coach Morrow with the tennis team. We see that with Coach Koth and the volleyball team. We see that with Coach Lohr, which we'll talk about here in a little bit with
Kelly,
the basketball team.
Mike
Horn. I mean, the list just goes
Smothers
on and on.
has been here forever, just in different roles.
Exactly. Once you come to Wayne State, and I've been here forever now too. I mean, people were joking at me after the game, after the loss on Saturday, Grand Valley. How long have you been doing games now? Oh, wow, 10, 11 years? That's crazy. So once you come to Wayne State, you want
the claws.
You want to be here. The claws get you. You don't want to leave, and absolutely. But great job by Coach Peters and then the swimming and diving team this year with those top finishes and continuing to perform.
Had to lead with a national champion, of course. Yeah. There's no way not to. But the disappointing news is another season came to an end. Women's basketball falls in the regional semifinal to Grand Valley. Did beat Northern Michigan to get another tournament win, back-to-back years with a first-round tournament win. In fact, when Wayne State makes the tournament, they usually win their first-round game. But lose to Grand Valley. Breck, you were there for both of them. I'll let you kind of walk us through the weekend.
Let's start with Friday, because that's obviously the highlight of the weekend was beating Northern Michigan 77-61. And it was just like Saturday, which we'll talk about in a minute with Grand Valley. The final score wasn't indicative of how close the game was. I mean, Northern was up 1 at halftime, 30-29. We just didn't play that well offensively in the first half. Missed a lot of shots 5 feet in around the basket, a lot of uncharacteristic misses for Wayne State. So even though we were down 1 at halftime, I was thinking to myself, this is still our game. our game to win for sure. And in the second half, Wayne State played much better. The fourth quarter was outstanding, but shout out to A.J. Rickley, who came off the bench with about 6 minutes to go in the third quarter with the game basically tied. I think we might have been up 1 point, but it was seesaw back and forth at that point. But she came in, scored 8 points, had 5 rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds, 1-and-1 situation as well, and really provided that spark that Coach Lohr talked to me before the game about that, hey, we need somebody to come off our bench tonight and really step up in a big way, because we know the big three. We know Ferguson and Lutchke Leshka and Thompson are going to be there, which they were, but we need somebody else to step up and give AJ a shot. I gave her the Blue Cross Blue Shield player of the game Friday night for the way she came in and provided that spark, and her plus minus that night, I think, was like plus 18. Just a great effort by Wayne State. They were the better team. I knew going in, if Northern Michigan didn't hit 15 threes, that Wayne State was the better team. Just like I knew against Ferris State, if Ferris State doesn't hit 20 threes, that Wayne State was the better team, and they proved that against Northern Michigan Friday. Great win. They were so excited after the game, putting the Wayne State logo up on the bracket to move on, and they knew they had a good opportunity with Grand Valley the next night. But just the coaches were happy. All the parents were happy. Shay Tripp, the former Warrior, was there. She was excited for the team as well, and it was just a fun night to be a Warrior Friday night. And anytime you can win a game in the national tournament, I don't care what year it is or who you're playing, it's a special moment. And Friday night was a big special moment.
Then, unfortunately, Saturday happens. The first half, very back and forth. Grand Valley pulls ahead, and then it just kind of slowly the gap was widening and widening, and it ends up being a 20-point loss. It's a disappointing way to end, and we'll first talk about the game, and we'll kind of talk about what this means for Wayne State going forward.
The game. All right, Grand Valley came out with an 11-2 run to start. Coach Lore calls timeout, as she should. There was a ton of buzz in the crowd, a huge crowd there. Mostly Grand Valley fans, you would suspect, playing in their home gym. Once we called timeout, we came back out. We went zone defensively, and that really stymied Grand Valley for about a quarter and a half. And we got back in it. We were up 2 points at the end of the first quarter. It was nip and tuck early in the second quarter to the midway point of the second quarter. And then Wayne State kind of found out that they had to play zone with the way Mackenzie Bisbal was playing. She's been playing outstanding basketball the last couple of weeks. They had to zone her up just to limit her opportunities down low. But when they did, Grand Valley had open looks from three, and they made a lot of threes, but they also missed a lot of threes that they rebounded. They got second, third, fourth chance at the basket all night long after about the midway point of the second quarter. And it was just a kind of danged if you do, danged if you don't situation for Wayne State. You could go back to man to rebound better, but then they're going to expose you on the interior. You could go zone, which is what Wayne State chose to do, I think, smartly to limit those inside opportunities, but then they gave up a ton of second and third chance points.
Because Grand Valley's a really good team.
They're a very good team, Brady. The only game they've lost all year was the Wayne State by 1 point, and they've beaten everybody all year except the one time they beat Wayne State back on January 8th by double digits, including Saturday night against the Warriors 90-70. They're the better team. They had the crowd behind them. But here's the interesting thing, Brady. And by the way, foul trouble killed Wayne State too. It wasn't bad officiating like it was on January 8th. I was very upfront with that, with the terrible officiating the first time we played them over there. It wasn't bad officiating. It was just the fact that they were so good on the interior and so good rebounding on the offensive side that we had to commit a lot of fouls, and Gabby Leshka was in foul trouble the whole game. She amazingly came back into the game with about 2 minutes to go in the third quarter with 4 fouls. Carrie Lore decided, hey, we're down 15, 16
kind of
points.
have to.
You have to put her out there, and then she goes out in the fourth quarter, plays the entire rest of the game, doesn't pick up her 5th foul, and hits a bunch of threes in the fourth quarter to keep Wayne State kind of within striking distance till the end. So shout out to Gabby. But Taylor had foul trouble, JC had foul trouble, McKenna had foul trouble. Anytime your better players like that have foul trouble, it's going to be tough to beat anybody, let alone the number one team, in my opinion, in the country, Grand Valley. But here's the interesting thing, Brady. This happened the exact same way last year, where Wayne State won their first round game, then lost to Grand Valley in the semifinal. Taking nothing away from Shay Tripp, who I love, and I saw again Friday, had a nice conversation with her. But that Wayne State team last year, and Grand Valley knew this, really had no chance to beat Grand Valley. Yeah. Had no chance. And they just kind of treated Wayne State in that second round game like, ho-hum, it's just another game. We got to play Ferris in the next game, and that's more of an important game to get to the Elite Eight. This year, this was the game that Grand Valley knew they had to win. They knew Wayne State was either the second or third best team. I'm going to say second, best team in the region. They were probably their toughest test before they got to Pittsburgh in the Elite Eight. They played Northwood tonight while we're taping, and the result will be out there by the time this comes out. But the way
Grand Valley's probably going to win.
Yeah, Grand Valley's probably going to win from watching Northwood all weekend too. The way that Grand Valley reacted during the game and once they won the game, it was almost like, honestly, like they had won the national championship.
Or at
like
least won the region.
Or won the region. Like they were very excited. They were taunting us a little bit after the game, which you never saw before, but we kind of did the same thing to them when we beat them here. So
because they're a good team and it means a lot.
And they knew
that's one thing I just don't get is okay, Grand Valley, they're good at a lot of sports, so you can't all be like, yes, we're so good at this, and then have surprised face when teams are excited that they beat you in sports.
Yeah.
because you're good at it.
Yeah.
So, yes, you can't on one side beat your chest and say, we're great at this. And then when someone finally beats you, go, well, why are you so excited?
Yeah.
Come on.
But I have no problem with it either way.
Exactly.
It's good.
Like, it was
good.
a big celebration here at the field house.
Yeah, it was a big
so
celebration.
They get it in
Saturday,
the regional.
Yeah.
They have the right to celebrate.
But my point is that Grand Valley knew how good of a team Wayne State had this year and how good they matched up with them. So to beat them was a big accomplishment since they lost to them once and only beat them by 1 point earlier in the season. They acted like that. Their fans were acting like that the whole game. Anytime there was a call that went against them. In the past, when Wayne State had played Grand Valley, it was just like, oh, well, we got called for a foul. But the whole crowd would stand up and go. And McKenna Ferguson got under their skin quite a bit with the way she was playing her good defense, like she always does, stealing the ball. And it was just it was the intensity of like an Elite Eight Final Four game, not a round of 32 regional game.
I understand in D2 how you have to regionalize things a bit. Yeah. But the reality for Wayne State, and especially in women's basketball going forward, you have this problem in football as well, where if you're going to get out of this region, if you're going to get out of this conference, you have to be national title good.
Yeah.
That's just the real, and that's basically Carrie Lore's tenure, because Ashland for a while didn't lose a game for 3 years or something stupid. Grand Valley has lost 2 games in the last 3 years or 2 years. So while yes, you go, man, this was such a great season, they only got to the round of 32. Not saying that this is always going to be the biggest hurdle, because there are some other really good programs, but not all regions are created the same.
No.
Not all regions are the same. And the unfortunate reality is, you could be Wayne State, you could make an argument, could have been a top 10, top 15 team in the country, was good enough in some other regions to win it, but they're going to have to get past a program like Grand Valley, and Ferris is going to be up there. And, Northwood is starting to, I think Grand Valley will have beaten them by the time this is out, but is a program that you have to worry about. It's not like you have to be one of the best in the country just to get to the Elite Eight. And that is, I guess, the unfortunate reality is that, even if you are top 10 good, you might have to be top 5 good to be one of the final 8 teams coming from this region.
Yeah, you perfectly said, Brady. You see this sometimes in the big national tournament, Division I for the men. There's maybe a second round or Sweet 16 game between 2 teams that for some reason might not have been seeded correctly or whatever, and they play. And
but it's not every year.
A classic game, and it's like the winner of that game is going to win it all. Yeah, honestly, I'm trying to choose my words carefully here. I kind of talked before the game, and I asked Coach Lord about this. I said, hey, is this the biggest moment coming up in Wayne State women's basketball history tonight? I know it's only around a 32 game. She said, well, my second year here, we got to the regional final and lost to Ashland. They ended up winning the national title. I said, yeah, I called that game, actually. I got subbed in to call that game back in 2013. She's like, and then the year after, we made the regional final too, so I don't know if I can say that. I'm like, yes, but here's the thing. Grand Valley is the defending national champs. Yes. They're probably the best team in the country. You've beaten them once already this year. If you can beat them, sky's the limit. That was a pivot point last night. If Wayne State wins that game, that might have been the biggest moment in Wayne State women's history, because they were going to be the odds-on favorite to beat Northwood.
They did lose to Northwood.
They did, but on a neutral court, and I
don't want to take anything away from
Northwood. But I'm just saying, if they win that game Saturday, that's probably the biggest moment in Wayne State women's basketball history, and who knows where they end up. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I like Wayne State and I got the green and gold colored glasses like I always say, but they could have gone all the way. Who knows? But they didn't, and Grand Valley was the better team on Saturday, and shout out to them. And I would be very surprised, Brady, if Grand Valley doesn't win the national title again.
All right. One last thing in winter sports. Fencing. Their national finals are coming up, and I got a chance to talk to Anabella Acurero Gonzalez of the women's fencing team. You'll hear that conversation, and then to end the show, we'll talk everything spring sports right here on Warrior Weekly. All right, now we welcome on a special guest, someone competing for a national championship this week, Anabella Acurero Gonzalez. First of all, did I get the name right? Because I was very nervous about that. Got your name right, correct?
Yes.
All right, so you're a fencer here at Wayne State, and just competed at regionals, qualifying for nationals, a part of a streak of the last 79 years between the men and the women. Wayne State has sent someone to compete for a national title. You're now a part of that lineage. I guess we'll start there. What does that mean for you to be a part of going on a century of history here at Wayne State Fencing?
So hi, thank you for inviting me. And first, I feel very grateful for being here and being part of the fencing team. I always wanted to compete in NCAAs. Last year, I could not do it because I was not eligible. But this year, I had the opportunity to start over again, and I did a pretty good season. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that, and thankful or also for my coach and my teammates.
So you said last year, you were redshirted. You're not competing for an NCAA championship. Was that frustrating where you were still competing a little bit, but you knew you had to wait a whole year to go for the big prize, compete for a national title? What was that like last year? You still are in the competition, so you're still participating, but you have to wait another year for that big tournament.
So yeah, at first I was kind of frustrated and sad, but I realized that I could. It was not in my control anymore. So if I had to wait another year just to do a good season and practicing and competing with all my teammates, I can wait.
Awesome. So, all right, you're originally from Venezuela, correct?
Yes.
So let's start with first how you got into fencing. What age did you start, and how do most people get into fencing?
So, I started fencing when I was 6 years old, and it was thanks to my aunt.
Okay.
She is 2 times Olympian.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I decided to start fencing, and hopefully, I'm following her steps.
Well, I think competing for a national title is a good start. That's a good start to getting there. Kind of a silly question, but when did you realize you were pretty good at fencing and you can do this in college and you can do this, travel across the world to compete at fencing?
So at first, I think I was not good. When I was a kid, I cried a lot. I used to cry a lot. But then I worked really hard and I started to go to international competitions. And that, I think, shaped my fencing. And also thanks to my aunt and my uncle, that he was also part of the national team. So yeah, they helped me to improve my fencing, and yes.
So you say you start this international competition. What age do you first start traveling for international fencing?
Probably when I was 12.
Wow. So you're still pretty young, and where was the first spot you went to, or one of the first spots you went to travel for fencing?
So there's this competition, very famous. It's called Marathon in Paris. So it's a bunch of kids, like 200 kids, competing just to win this competition. That's why it's called Marathon, and it's a huge competition. And so because it's famous and it's known all around the world. That was my first international competition.
So what's that like at 12 years old? You said this one was in Paris. So you're traveling across the ocean to Paris, to a foreign country, in a very famous tournament, you're saying. So there's, hundreds of kids there. What is that like, going to a place like that and in such a famous tournament for your first international tournament?
So it was kind of overwhelming. But it was fun also to watch these kids that were also my age or maybe a little bit older,
right,
to enjoy the fencing the way I enjoy it at that time.
Okay, so you're competing from that young of an age. When do you start going, okay, I'm going to come and compete in the NCAA? And what is that recruiting process like? Because we'll get to it in a little bit, but you have teammates from Europe, from Africa, from you from Venezuela. So what is that process like of going, okay, I'm going to go to America and compete in the NCAA? When do colleges first contact you, and what is that process like?
So in my case, it was I contact Coach Andy.
Okay.
But it was thanks to this friend. Her name is Daniela. So she was recruited from Long Island University.
Okay.
But she knew about Coach Andy and the university in general. And then I was interested in doing the university in general, and then I saw the opportunity, thanks also to my results, to maybe get a scholarship and try to get into a university here. So yeah, then I saw the NCAA results, I think 2 years ago, and I was excited because I don't know, in 2018, I saw Lee Kiefer, the Olympic champion,
Right.
doing this national competition too. So yeah, I from that time I always wanted to represent a university and qualify for NCAAs. And then thanks to Coach Andy, I think I sent an email, and he asked me a few questions about my results and what else? Some videos, me doing fencing. Yes, and then I got recruited.
So what did you know about Wayne State before you came here? Obviously, you knew Coach Andy, but anything else, or was it just, hey, I know this coach. He's, he's a chance for me to go to college and compete. Did you know anything else about Wayne State, or was it just, hey, it's an opportunity for me?
Yeah, no, I didn't know anything about Wednesday, but now that I'm here, I can say that I love it. I love the environment. I love my teammates. I love my coach, and yeah, I feel pretty good here.
So what do you tell people back home about Detroit? Because I'm sure they ask about it, and you've been obviously all over the world.
Yeah, actually, they were worried because when Wednesday is located in Detroit, and I'm not saying in Venezuela, but in around the world, they say that Detroit is very dangerous.
It's got a reputation sometimes.
So they were worried about me, like, oh, you're going there. But my, I really wanted to go to a university, and I had the opportunity here. So I say, why not? So I took the chance.
And then has your family been able to come up and visit you here at all? Have they gotten to see it for their own eyes, or is it all you just telling them, hey, no, we have all this, and this, and it's not what you might hear just with a stereotype?
Yeah, unfortunately, they cannot visit me right now, but yeah, I can tell, like, I told them that I'm good. I stay on campus, so it's very safe. And yeah, they all just wanted to know that I'm good. I'm doing and accomplishing my goals and my dreams, so they are happy.
That's incredible. So you mentioned that you have teammates from all over the world. You have Italy, Turkey, Egypt, and that's just right now. I'm sure you'll have some more from other countries. What is that like, having a team with so many different nationalities from all over the globe and coming into one team? What is that kind of like, being all together?
Well, I feel like I'm not alone in a sense. Like, I'm not the only international student. Even if another sports here, they are mostly American. But fencing related, I feel like, yes, I'm not alone, and I feel very grateful to have them also, the international student.
Yeah, because it can be a little scary going so far from home, going to another country and saying, yes, this is where I'm going to spend the next 4 years. And like you said, it was kind of sight unseen. You had really didn't know much about it. So having other people with a similar experience, I'm sure, has made it easier for you.
Yeah, it was easier.
So, excuse me, getting ready for nationals. Talk about, this season of when did you think, like, okay, I'm competing well, like you knew you were good at fencing, but when did you go, all right, I think I've got a legit shot to make the national tournament now?
It was right after I participate at the Junior Olympics. Yeah, it was in 2018 in Argentina. after that competition, that was a very important competition, I realized that I was good enough to, keep going doing fencing and maybe try to go to real Olympics, like senior Olympics one day. But then I was not quite done with my high school. So that was my first step, like finishing high school so I could get recruit from a university if I wanted to do both, like keep doing fencing and workups and maybe going to LA or at that time it was Tokyo. And then also studying and doing a whole other thing besides fencing.
So, okay, for people maybe out there that don't know, few different weapons in fencing. Can you just give a brief explanation on what your weapon is and how it's different from the other ones?
Okay, so I fence foil. Foil is the one who is very small and the target is just in the chest. And then there's saber, which is faster. Yeah. And then there's epi, which is you can hit the whole body.
So I can go after your leg, after your arm, not just the chest.
Yes, and the weapon is bigger and a little bit heavier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and you said you're in the foil, so just because, some people, they might only see fencing every 4 years at the Olympics, and obviously hope to see you there one day. I think that would be something pretty cool. So getting ready for nationals, as people are listening to this, it's just a couple of days away. What are you feeling like going into this national tournament? I mean, you've traveled all over the world. Does this feel like just another big tournament, or does it have a little extra is there a little extra nervousness going into this?
So everything started in regionals. Is I don't want to say it's the same competition, but I mean you have to do well to maybe qualify for these nationals. So I was kind of anxious, but it was actually not my first competition like that. I already participate in like Central American games and South American games, and these games is just 1 day competition and you have to win all to win a medal.
Right.
So it was kind of the same. The only difference here is that you have to do like 20 bouts. So it's very at the end we were all tired. But yeah, qualifying for nationals is very special, or at least the first time is very special, because as I say, I watch Lee Kiefer competing, and being there, participating is special, but maybe and hopefully I can do a good result.
I'm sure you will. So, all right, so you compete both for obviously Wayne State, and that's what this national tournament is, the conclusion of this year's season. But you also compete for Venezuela. How do you do both at the same time, or at least kind of at the same time? Because, you said, had the South American games. You talked about Argentina, Paris, all these other places I know you go to. I think you said you're going to Egypt for an event. How do you do that and balance, being a student athlete here at Wayne State at the same time?
So it's very hard.
Yes.
Actually, it's very hard. But yeah, I think I planned earlier with my coach and Kim, our advisor.
Yep.
Yeah, she also helps me a lot with if I have a competition and to talk with the professors and everything.
Kim always helps out.
Yes. Yeah, and after that, I think also Wayne State or the university, they are very comprehensive, and they always let me to do like workups and everything, and then help me with my grades.
So where are some of I know you've traveled a lot of spots. Where are some of the favorite spots you've traveled, both in America and then around the world?
Interesting.
'Cause there's a lot of places you've gone, isn't there?
Yes. I mean, I went to China. It was very
Okay.
interesting. And then, what else? I liked Colombia, even
Yeah.
if it's next to Venezuela, but I really like their culture too.
And then, I have to imagine, though those are some long travels, I'm sure some for Wayne State, they feel like nothing just going, a few hours on a bus or something, going whether it's to Ohio like you did for Nationals or Indiana. That has to feel like nothing compared to going to China or to Egypt or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I don't mind being doing the bus trip. I really enjoy being there, and also since I'm going with my teammates, so it just makes it easier.
Well, Anabella, I really appreciate this. As we wrap this up, one thing I do want to ask you is, you've been to Detroit, you've been here for a little while now. What's a part of Detroit or Michigan that's kind of stuck with you that, maybe a piece of culture, you find yourself saying something that people from here are doing something? What's a part of like Detroit culture that you think's going to stick with you?
So, I really like the 313 thing.
Yeah.
And I also really like when you guys say hi and you guys say what up though. It's just very funny. And I think the 313 and that
What up,
way
though?
to say hi, yes, is going to stick with me.
Oh, of course. So next time you travel, whether it's to Egypt or Argentina or to China, you have to let them know. And just when you see someone, just a what up, doe, and they'll know. You can help spread the culture there. So Anabella, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us. You did great. Good luck at Nationals. I know we're all going to be rooting for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, let's now turn our attention to spring sports because a lot of stuff was going on. We'll start. Men's golf went down to the Carolinas and finished first out of 17 teams. They've had some pretty strong finishes here. At least in the fall, they were doing pretty well. They start off the spring with a first place finish.
It can't get much better than first
No.
place. 17 teams, too. Again,
Yeah.
I mentioned it last week on the podcast. We're talking to Coach Horn at one of the halftimes for the basketball games this year. I think it was late January when I talked to him. He was very excited about that South Carolina trip to open up the season. And he even said to me, he's like, I think we can probably get like maybe second or third. I don't know about first, but second or third.
And
he
goes down.
undershot a little bit. They got first, so shout out to the men's golf team. Should be a fun spring for them too, getting off to a great start down in South Carolina. And I don't know if they'll be able to play much up here in the next couple days. It was so windy.
Yeah.
If you're downwind, you probably get hit a ball about 400 yards. If you were against the wind, maybe about 110 if you were good. But hopefully they stay down south.
Yeah, the wind has been a bit ridiculous. Tennis has been playing pretty well. The men's tennis 8-3 or 8-4 after they lost their last three. However, they've been exclusively playing basically top 10 teams down in Florida. Stumbled a little bit at the end, but they got as high as I think number 4 in the country. They'll fall a little bit. This men's tennis team is going to be pretty good. Women's tennis going into, I know, again, as recording, they hadn't quite finished up down in Florida, but they had been competing pretty well. They didn't go down there and play some cupcakes. They've been playing some pretty darn good opponents so far this year, and especially on the men's side, some strong results.
You want to play the best competition you can this early in the year because both the men's and women's tennis teams know that they're probably going to go to the national tournament at the end of the year, and playing the better teams and better matches against better competition in March gets you ready for matches in late April and into May. And we've seen that the last few years, especially on the men's side, them playing a really good schedule and really toughening them up for not just GLIAC play against some of the better squads in the GLIAC, but then when they get to the national tournament, they've done so well, made some nice runs, and gotten themselves back to Florida. Although I heard this year the NCAA is down in Georgia, not Florida, but going down south.
Anyway, warmer weather,
and they're ready to go. And they've had some great runs, and I think it's because of scheduling. This isn't like SEC football non-conference schedules here. You're not playing cupcakes. These are you're playing some good teams.
So as of recording, softball had played 6 games since we last talked to them. We'll know what they do against Mankato and St. Michael's, St. Anselm, and Minot State, which, again, Minot State Of course, it's the one that isn't pronounced like it's French. The first time I said it. Also, if you look at their logo, it looks like someone took 2 minutes and said, all right, I'm going to draw a beaver and done. And they did that in 1958 and it stuck with it. Anyway, the games they had played, they lost 2 to Oakland. Couldn't really get the bats going. They lost 2-0 and 6-2 against a team that I'm glad it was the first time they had played a regular season game against Oakland in 20 years, which is silly to me since it's basically outside of UDM, the closest college softball program here. But they lost 2 there. Went down the start of Florida. They beat Mercy 8-1, beat Thomas More in 8 innings 4-3, and then lost to Franklin Pierce and ODU 9-4 in both games.
Nice to play Oakland. I want to give a shout out to the basketball teams too. We should be playing Oakland, whether it's exhibition or not, every year. Let's get that going. Detroit Mercy as well, same thing. But good start for the softball team. And again, get down to Florida, get some warmer weather in you, get some games under your belt, and GLIAC season starts in about a week and a half. So it's right around the corner, or later this week for the baseball teams. We'll talk about in a minute too. But it's that time of year that hey, most of the preseason and out of league.
Actually, the softball's this weekend.
Yeah, that's right. Softball's this weekend too.
Because they come up, and 4 days later they're supposed to go to the West Side.
Yeah, and I mean, the weather's looking a little bit better coming up this weekend, so I think those games will be played. But it's so funny because I've been focusing so much on basketball with the women's team, but now most of the non-league schedules are done.
We're going right into GLIAC play.
We're right back into GLIAC play, and let's get after it. Let's get
all going. Right. I'm gonna brag a little bit about this baseball team because they go 6-0 in Florida.
Which is
now we had said that Florida was going to be the last kind of litmus test to see, all right, where are we aligning expectations? And I may have said to our friend Cooper, who is the SID for the baseball team, essentially, that, right after, I think, the second Tiffin game, they're 2-0, I'm like, Coop, this is a team that was really injured last year. They have a lot of experience. I go, I think this team might be a hammer. Like, they might just be able to hammer teams. Cutscene, they're 16-2. They're now the number 16 team in the country. They're number 2 in the region. Them and Grand Valley are a combined 33-4. This team might be a hammer, Kevin. This baseball team might be pretty darn good.
I think you might have been correct about that. I had the feeling they would be good this year too. I'm not still waiting to see how good they're going to be because that Florida trip just proved to me going 6-0 against some good competition. And again, baseball's different than a lot of other sports because you play so many more games and you play almost every day when you're playing series and everything like that. But so sometimes you're just going to lose a game every now and then because
it's baseball.
It's just baseball. You can't win every game, right?
Even the best college teams will still have 5-10 losses at the end of the year.
Yeah, you're not going to see anybody, 37-0 or
62-1.
It just doesn't happen. But so for Wayne State to go down to Florida with all the distractions down there with the warmer weather, the palm trees,
including the 15-inning win,
afternoon storms, to win every game down there is just phenomenal. And now they come back home. We're supposed to play tomorrow. I know we're taping Monday, so this would have been yesterday. The game was canceled. Hopefully they're playing today against Ohio Dominican, maybe 2 games. And then we'll see what happens. But then, hey, we're going over to Kenosha, Wisconsin to play Parkside. We're opening up GLIAC play. It's going to be cold. There's going to be some wind coming off the lake, Lake Michigan over there.
Parkside's had a nice start to their season.
And they've had a nice start, so it's right into GLIAC play, and let's get going. That Grand Valley series is coming up in a couple weeks on Easter weekend as well. Can't wait for that. We'll be having all those broadcasts for you here on the Warrior Sports Network. Yeah, I can't. There are a hammer right now, Brady. We'll see if that continues. I think it will if they stay healthy. This is a team that I think can win the conference, can win the conference tournament, can even win the regional, and maybe even host one of the regional sites as well if they keep playing like this. So shout out to RK and the rest of the baseball team for their start and staying focused on Florida, taking care of business, winning all 6 games. I can't wait to watch them in person for the first time. Hopefully it's later today when this is released against Ohio Dominican, but if not, in a couple weeks when they come home to take on Grand Valley, I can't wait. Should be a fun can't say really season because in 6 weeks it's over, so it's going to be a fun.
It's a sprint.
Yeah.
It's funny because baseball is the game where you think about the major leagues and you're like it's throughout the entire. You start in late March, early April, it goes all the way to November, and it's every. College baseball is not like that. College baseball is a sprint. Yeah. We're going to get going the second somewhere in the country has good weather in February, and we're going to play 60 games by May.
Yeah, I should preface by saying 6 weeks the season's over regular season-wise, then the GLIAC tournament the first week of May, and then, of course, the NCAA tournament, which Wayne State will hopefully be in as well, will be coming up after that. So hopefully the season goes all the way to the end of May for Wayne State, but as far as the regular season goes, starting right now this week, hey, league play starts. Let's get after it. Let's take down Parkside and get off to a good start in league play.
Through 18 games, Wayne State has given up 5 runs 4 times, and one of those was in a 15-inning game. And the other times, I think they haven't given up more than 6 in a game. This is a team that
college baseball, that's phenomenal.
Yes, because college baseball is a very offensive-heavy sport. You're going to see a lot more 10-9s than you will 1-0.
Yep.
And I really think that this GLIAC race, and I'll throw Parkside in there as well. Davenport did just beat Tampa, who's usually the number 1 team in the country. In continuum until someone beats them in the tournament. It's going to be who doesn't have that oopsie game. Who has the least amount of those? Who can, let's just say Roosevelt's not projected to do well. Purdue Northwest isn't projected to do well. Who can get all 4 of them and not only take 3 of 4? That really is going to be the difference. And we talked about it with the women's basketball, about if you're going to get out of this conference, out of this region, you might have to be national title good. That might hold true on the baseball side as well.
Oh, I agree. When you're playing and no offense to the Roosevelts and the Purdue Northwests of the world out there, but when you're playing those teams, you need to sweep.
Yes.
You need to sweep those series. And, Wayne State hopefully will take care of business against those teams. But, again, like you said, Davenport has been good the last 8-9 years they've been in the league. They've won the league title multiple times.
They have a lot of turnover multiple
times. A lot of turnover, but great coaching staff over there. They do a great job. Grand Valley is going to be Grand Valley. Saginaw Valley has surprised some people the last few years.
They started off hot and then they lost their last 6.
Yeah, so
they've been a weird
Parkside,
team.
But I really think it's going to be Wayne State, Grand Valley for sure, Davenport maybe, and then maybe Saginaw Valley, maybe Parkside. Again, I don't want to offend anybody out there if you're listening and that I'm not giving your team some shout-outs, but I really think Wayne State is right up there and have a great chance to win the league title this year.
All right, so coming up this week in Wayne State Athletics, you mentioned Ohio Dominican, well, as you're listening, would have happened. At Parkside this weekend for the first 4 in GLIAC play. Softball is going over to the west side for Davenport and Ferris State for a couple of doubleheaders to get theirs started. Women's golf will start about a week from now, so before you hear the next podcast, the 23rd and 24th, they're going to Northern Kentucky. Women's tennis and men's tennis will start to get ready for GLIAC play. And there's not as much because I'm used to having both winter and spring.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. I know track and field still has a couple of weeks before their outdoor season starts. But, yeah, the GLIAC starts for baseball and softball. And on the softball side, some of the records aren't great in the GLIAC to start. I know Saginaw Valley is maybe a little disappointing with their start. They're one of the favorites. But Wayne State hopefully can take another step forward this year on the softball side as well.
Yeah, they're looking for a top half of the league finish, make the league tournament again would be a good step, and then see what happens. Once you get to the league tournament, you never know with the format that we always talk about being kind of weird. Not quite as weird in the softball side as the baseball side, but still an interesting format. But top half of the league, get yourself a good seed for the league tournament, and kind of like what we talk about with basketball too. Hey, let's finish in the top half of the league. No home games, obviously, in softball and baseball for the league tournament like basketball, but finish top half, give yourself a chance to go in the postseason and see what happens.
Well, and one other thing from the winter season as we finish it up, fencing nationals this weekend, Thursday through Sunday. The women will be on Thursday, Friday, men's Saturday, Sunday. Good luck to all of our fencers competing in that. And then next time we talk, it's going to be all spring sports till the end of the school year.
Yes, it will. Can't wait. I'm ready for baseball. I'm a big baseball guy. Even though I've been broadcasting basketball the longest here at Wayne State, baseball is my favorite sport. I can't wait for baseball season.
All right.
Bring it on.
Breck, we'll be talking about it. Hopefully a couple sweeps for baseball and softball. Hopefully more national champions to talk about on next week's show. He's Kevin Brechmacher. I'm Brady Beedon, and you've been listening to Warrior Weekly.